Yeah, if you could start fresh, starting over, I would start over in real estate or a sushi chef.
I think the sushi chef is just out there.
Gentlemen, welcome back to the Failing to Freedom podcast, where each week your boy Antonio Centeno and me, Alpha M, Aaron Marino, try to impart some wisdom. Something that we have long learned along our entrepreneurial journey. The whole idea and premise behind this is that there is no road to success without some speed bumps, and we're sharing the speed bumps. If you are somebody that is interested in avoiding some of the speed bumps and actually starting a business, we encourage you to hit that link down below and go check out what we're doing at the 10K Club. We're actually thinking about changing the name to Failing to Freedom. The whole idea and premise is that we are teaming up with or helping people essentially start businesses and help them get to that $10,000 a month point of income, because we really feel like from our experience that $10,000 a month was a pivotal point in both of our journeys where like things change at that level and that point, and it gives you more options. And so we have built a curriculum, we have built a community. We're in there every single week doing live coaching. We're in there every single day, engaging, helping, and assisting, and building an incredible brotherhood of inspiring men that are going to do incredible things. Antonio, anything to add before I dive into today's topic that you don't know about?
No, I mean, if you want to make things happen, surround yourself with people that are already doing it. Gives you confidence, helps you keep that motivation going, and really inspires you to take action. But Aaron, no, dive into it. What are we going to cover today?
Here we go. Here's my question to you.
Sure.
If YouTube didn't exist, or let me throw another, like a magic scenario at you. Say for instance, you can't do content online anymore. Like, it's done. You're done. We're done. Okay, it's history. I can't make YouTube videos. The internet has exploded. What business or career would you like to do if you didn't need to worry about like training and money or anything like that? What is a business or an industry that you absolutely love, that you are a little bit envious when you see other people doing it? I'll share mine in a second. I want to know what you've got first.
All right. So I think that you already know what this is, and it's something that you see that I like to do. I love bringing people together. So it would maybe be harder without the internet. Let's assume, though, we've got slivers of the internet and that I can build communities. I love building communities. And within that, I love building communities of business owners or people that are starting businesses, people that have established businesses, bringing them together and making the magic happen. I was doing this just simply on the side because I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. Now, in the last probably 6 months, I've started turning it into a business to see if there's legs here. And it is something that I am finding there's a lot. Let's take AI. We all hear it. We all know that it's out there. We're all using it perhaps in different ways. But the reality is most people know they can be doing it better. Most business owners realize they're probably just touching the tip of the iceberg if maybe they've got ChatGPT on their phone, the app, and they're in there asking it questions. They know and they've heard of people creating AI agents to be able to manage their email. They have heard of people being able to go in here and to be able to use it to, automate everything with video creation. So I created a mastermind in which, yes, we talk about those practical things, but then more importantly, we implement it. During the mastermind, we literally are building out AI agents that manage your email. That's the goal, is to actually take that practical application. So I think being able to do coaching, being able to help people, and I've resisted this for a long time because I've always felt, well, I need to have done everything that I'm talking about in order to have that proof. But you look at like Bill Belichick, or you look at some of these great coaches out there, Vince Lombardi. Sure, they were probably good players and they've got that. Coaching doesn't mean that you have to be the best to come in and coach the best. It's actually what you bring to the table is an outside perspective. What you bring to the table is respect, maybe because you have what you understand what that athlete's going through or what that person's going through. When we look at the Olympics, we have right now the Winter Olympics just wrapping up. It's hard to imagine anyone going to the Olympics and reaching that top level without a coach. And yet so many people think that they're going to reach the top levels of business without a coach or a mentor. This was something I wanted to be a high school football coach. I wanted to be a cross country coach or a track coach. I have never fulfilled that. Still, I may have time, but it's something that I love the idea of being around the people that I love, entrepreneurs, and being able to help them look at their business in a new way, be able to see something, and maybe even help them execute on taking their business to the next level. So that's right now something that I get really excited about. How would I spread the word without content marketing? I'm not sure. Maybe just
this is supposed to be more just of a fun question. I've got three things that I always think to myself, if I didn't need to work, or if I had to work and I needed to basically change jobs or careers, these three things really, they speak to me. Number one, a sushi chef. For whatever reason, like whenever I sit there like at a sushi bar and I just watch these artisans making the sushi, I think to myself, that looks really fun. It looks cool. I think I'd like to work in a sushi restaurant. Now, I'm not saying the sushi chefs
Have you ever made sushi at your house?
Not really. Not really. But I'm just saying, if I had to pick a new career and it was on the table, I think sushi chef, if they made like more money, I think that would probably be one. Another one, a hairstylist. I have always loved cutting hair. All right. From the age of 7 years old, I started cutting my own hair. I've loved it.
I can see this one because I've gone in with you, and you have actually given feedback to the stylist to improve the look of my hair.
I love hair. I love cutting hair. I love everything about it. Thus, the reason why I own a salon, and the other reason why I own a hair product company. I would love being a hairstylist. What I would not love is standing there all day. What I would not love is necessarily like dealing with all the drama that comes along with being a hairstylist, but nonetheless, I love it. And I think I romanticize it a little bit, but in order to make some extra money in college, I cut my roommate's hair. Like I've always been into hair cutting. My buddy Steve, the meteorologist, I cut his hair. I just love it. I love cutting hair. And the third one is real estate, more specifically building. If I didn't need to worry about like licenses or anything like that, if there was really a career, and a career that I see people like on Instagram and TikTok that I'm a little jealous of, it's people that are building things, whether or not it's custom homes or residents, or building warehouses, or building retail buildings. I love the idea of it. And the other reality is that that is one of the things that if you did, you could make a significant amount of money. Sure, you've got to learn, you've got to put in the time, you've got to do the reps, but it's something that I love the idea of, and I have a bunch of friends here locally that I am envious of. I'll run by their house and I'll go and I'll look that it's under construction, and I'll go in and I just love the idea. And someday I think maybe I will want to sort of dip my toe in the building world. I've just been trying to figure out what I think would be the most effective and productive and financially viable option for me.
So let's talk about that right there, because I think that is a problem. And we've got a few friends that are running into this problem. Once you've been successful in one area, a lot of times you don't want to try something new because you don't want to go through the suck phase. You want to basically, I want to get into this new thing and I want it to be successful and I don't want to fail. Do you feel that this really can hold you back?
What could hold me back?
The fact that you're wanting to get into this, but you're wanting to make sure it's going to work, that it's going to be profitable. Those weren't things you necessarily asked when you flipped on that video camera that your wife gave you and you started making YouTube videos.
Yeah, no, what I'm asking myself is, okay, one of the things that you've got to get under control when it comes to building or doing anything like that is your own taste, right? Having good taste or expensive taste is not necessarily the same or conducive to building certain things. Now, if you're a custom home builder and you're appealing to people with money, then that's fine. Working with, higher end architects, designers, kitchen and bath people, that's fine. But if I was trying to do this as kind of a career change or shift or evolution, what is holding me back is trying to figure out what aspect or avenue of this building process I think would be the most lucrative, but something that I could manage and handle when it comes to my time, the cost of it, and my knowledge. Because that's one of the big things with this is you need not only knowledge of how to do it, sure, you could go to ChatGPT and get the steps and all that, but you also need a license in order to do certain things. Or you hire a general contractor under you, and this is one of the things that I thought about, is hiring somebody and saying, listen, I'm gonna give you and pay you. You know that on the first one that you do, if you're gonna build a spec home, I'm not gonna make as much money because I'm gonna have to pay somebody a salary or say 15% or 20% of the total cost in order to do this. But I'm gonna use that as my learning experience. I'm gonna be there. I wanna know everything you're doing. I wanna know the steps. I wanna know your resources. I wanna know your connections. I wanna be there when you are doing everything that you're doing, knowing that I'm basically building one and using this as a learning experience for me to get their knowledge. Now, the other thing that you could do is, and then so the second one you basically would have an easier time, doing. But the other reality is that it's kind of tough and tricky. It's like, okay, how long does it take to build a spec home? If it's cheap, 8 months. If it's expensive, it could be 2 years. And so time is also one of those factors that you need to consider. And then also, like, what is the return going to be? The market right now, when it comes to custom homes or spec homes, is very different than it was 2 years ago. It's a buyer's market. And so people aren't getting the money that they were for the homes that they, used to build. The other idea is, okay, maybe it's multi-unit commercial or multi-family like apartment building. So I've been starting to study a little bit more about, okay, like what does that look like? How to figure out the cap rate? What does it take to come in and add value to fix them up? And what are the rents like? And is there a market in affordable housing or what? So I'm actually and actively doing my research and thinking through this because I think that it is something that I would like to do, because as YouTube starts to go down and that income stream starts to dwindle, I think you start to look for other opportunities. You look for other ways to sort of fund your life or just make money or just do something that's going to A, make you money, but also B, fulfill you and get you excited. I get excited when I smell sawdust. I get excited when I get to go and walk a house or learn something else that I didn't know about, steel and why you need, these grade beams and what do you mean you need helical piers and what it all means and what it all, represents. The other thing that I love is learning about the city and learning about my area that I live and the different, things that I need to do and the people I need to talk to and meet in order to basically execute my vision or my dream. And so, yeah, I've been thinking a little bit about this.
There's a coach, I'm actually looking for his name right now, and he went in and he was an assistant. Before he got into college football, he had made his name in finance. The guy, very successful, made millions of dollars in finance, was a go-to guy. My understanding is he was in his early 50s though, and he's like, I don't need any more money. I've succeeded here. I want to coach football. The problem is he's never coached football. He's in his early 50s. Usually if anyone's, usually in your early 20s, you are getting into this field. You're spending 5 years in each position, moving your way up. He apparently was able to convince one college coach at a, not the best known program, but hey, I am just going to be your personal assistant. The dude's worth like $100 million. He's working for a no-name coach as his personal assistant. And his thing was like, I don't need money. Like, I just simply, and I'm going to be your best assistant you've ever had. But what I'm looking for is just mentorship. Like, I want to see and be able to figure this out. Apparently, he did this for a year or two. And then afterwards, he did get a coaching job. I think that there are case studies and there are examples out there of people making this switch, making this transition. Because let's face it, we're both of us coming in on 50 here. So we're at a point where you don't want to necessarily jump and change lanes because you've got a strong expertise and experience in a particular area. However, like you said, you want to go off and you want to do things, you want to jump. So is there a way that you could accelerate this and be able to test this out? Maybe if you could, again, throw it out there, if you could mentor under anyone in real estate, do you know who it would be, or do you have an idea? Like if you would, again, you would just be their go-to guy. Yeah. You would be their second in command.
Yeah.
Is there somebody out there?
I've been toying around. It depends on what avenue I decide I want to basically experiment with. If it's multifamily, no. If it's commercial, no. If it's residential, yeah. If it's, spec homes, yeah. And so if it's premium, luxury, custom homes, yeah. So, I mean, it really boils down to what avenue I decide I want to kind of explore, and I'm still in my process of doing due diligence. A really great show for those of you who are interested in real estate and investing that I started watching is Grant Cardone. You know, he's prolific multifamily, investor, and he has a new web series on YouTube where he basically goes to a specific area. He was in Atlanta, he went to Tampa, Florida, and he'll meet with 8 people that all have investment opportunities for him. All of the deals are different, and they basically get to pitch him. He goes with his daughter and his assistant, and they pitch him sort of the idea and the deal. And he basically will break it down, and then you get to move forward. If he thinks there's more to it, you've got to get a little bit more information. And then at the end of the episode, he invests his money in the deal that they're actually pitching. But it's a great example of walking you through and making you and helping you think through multiple different angles in real estate. And so it's a really, really, really good show that I've really been enjoying. But yeah, so that was just kind of my question, Antonio. If there was another career for you, and it wasn't requiring you to do all sorts of different, schooling and things of that nature, what would it be and why? I think you are the best when it comes to networking. You are the best when it comes to connecting. You are an incredible coach, and you're somebody that does want the best for other people. And that's one of the reasons why we became friends, because you wanted to reach out to me and say, hey, why don't we get together and get our community together. And basically you were the reason why we ended up connecting. I was not the reason. Yeah, one of the things that I noticed right away at the first time that we met was your superpower is networking and making people feel great about themselves and asking great questions and really, uplifting others. So you do a great job at that. And so I think that would be a perfect career shift for you.
Yeah, it's something that again, I think you start to think about, because getting back to that point, and I do want to, it is that fear of failure. It's knowing that if you go out there and you try something new, you're going to make a lot of very stupid mistakes. You are going to be like that kid that, you hear. We heard a story about a kid the other day that was adopted from another country. He came in his family, they gave him a banana. The kid just starts eating the banana, doesn't think to peel it. It doesn't mean that he's stupid. It just simply means he just isn't aware of how to eat a banana properly. And if you're willing to, in a sense, make a fool of yourself and I think humble yourself and start again, I don't think you're not starting back when you're 20, because you're actually coming into this with 20, 30 years of experience. You could accelerate. And Aaron, I do think because of your attention to detail, because of your love for real estate, I think in a very short amount of time, if you could go all in, you could, I think if you say, hey, I'm going to put these other things on hold, which I think would be very difficult for you because you love to be able to get into your businesses and you've got lots of things going on there. But you put these other things into a holding pattern and say, for the next 3 years, I'm going to go all in on this and I'm going to see if I can make it. I think your businesses are set at a point that you could probably step away from them with a minimal amount, just a couple hours, maybe a week, check what's going on here, and then go and try this other thing. Now, there is the risk, of course, that your businesses could go off the rails. And I know you don't want to risk that, but you also have, enough, I think, set up financially that you could take that risk. I think it's a much tougher thing, I think, for a guy that finds himself in a position where he's not maybe in a strong position. But we're getting all over the place.
We are. I think this is a good conversation and something for you guys out there to think about.
Yeah. Let us know what you think down in the comments.
Yeah, down below. What is something that you would love to get into if you could? And
if you could start fresh.
Yeah, if you could start fresh, starting over. I would start over in real estate, hairstylist, or a sushi chef.
I think sushi chef is just out there, but I'll go with that. For me, coaching. And all right, guys. Take care. Check out the links in the description, and we will see you in the next episode. Take care, guys.
Later.